Hey guys, it's Ashley, and today's video is going to be on summarizing the Bible by the 66 books and the 7 world empires. So stick with me to hear what I have to say. All right, guys. So I'm very passionate about looking at the Bible with the mindset of the 7 world empires just in the back of our mind. Why? Because in Revelation, you're going to see that there is a beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, others may disagree with me, but I believe that the 7 heads are the main empires that have overtaken Israel, and there's technically one that has not yet overtaken Israel. When you see 10 horns on this beast, I am believing that these 10 horns are going to be like a 10 nation confederation. I'm getting all of this with the help of the book of Daniel. If you have any questions on anything I'm saying, just comment below and I can do a further in-depth teaching. So with that said, we're going to have 7 world empires. The last empire, the 7th one, will be, from my perspective, a revived Roman Empire, and it'll be made up of 10 nations. Again, I'm getting this from the Old Testament, the book of Daniel, as well as Revelation. So who are these 7 world empires, and who are these 10 nations? I'm not going to go into depth with the 10 nations today. I'm going to just go in depth with the 7 world empires. History will even back this up. I mean, we could even prove everything I'm about to say, for the most part, even with secular content. The first empire to rule over Israel would have been Egypt. The second one is Assyria. Then we're going to see Babylon, Medo-Persia, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, and again, the revived Roman Empire will be brewing. How do I know this? Because the book of Daniel is going to be talking about this Roman Empire. But there's going to be all these descriptions of the Roman Empire that have not come to pass yet. In Daniel, it's going to talk about how there are 10 kings in this nation or in this empire, and how even 3 of these kings are going to die. That's never happened in history. And so that's why I'm very confident we have a revived Roman Empire coming. So again, the 7 that I see are going to be, and I can put everything in the bottom, and I can even go ahead right here. So if this is your visual person, it's going to be Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greek, Roman, and then the revived Roman Empire. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at these empires and see where they are in the miscellaneous books of the Bible. I'm also just going to walk you through the 66 books as well. All right, so the Old Testament. Old Testament is going to be divided up into sections. Your first 5 books are going to be known as the Law of Moses, or even the Torah. All right, so these are going to be your first 5. Then you're going to have books of the Bible that are your historic books. We are going to then follow by books that are going to be books of wisdom and poetry. I also see some end time stuff with the book of Psalms. So I would say Psalms is also a prophetic book, which then moves us into 2 more categories: major prophets, and then the minor prophets. When you hear major prophets or minor prophets, these are books that are going to be written for the future. So the word prophetic, the word prophet, this is going to be when someone is hearing from God for a person, for a nation, for a situation. So we got a lot of prophetic books in the Old Testament. Now, it's been a few years since the Old Testament has been written. So some of these prophecies have come to pass, but there are some that have not yet come to pass. So we want to keep our eyes open for that. So let's go ahead and just go over these subject matters, okay? So when you read through Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, what's going to be happening is you're going to really be seeing Israel come on the stage. You're going to also see them being enslaved in Egypt. So that's our first empire, okay? So the Egyptians are ruling over Israel. You're also going to see the Israelites actually get out of Egypt and eventually dwell in Israel by the help of Moses and Joshua. But Joshua actually doesn't come on the scene until the historic books. But back over here, we're going to see Moses really help. We're going to see Moses really help the Israelites get out of Egypt. We're going to also see the law. The law is going to be presented in these first 5 books as well, specifically Exodus and Leviticus. So that's a quick little summary of the Torah of the first 5 books. Now with history, you're going to see the Israelites dwelling in Israel. You're going to see how they had some judges, which were like rulers. Eventually, they got kings. They only had a few kings, and then Israel actually split into 2. Okay, so Israel had like a northern section and a southern section. Well, the northern section soon gets wiped out by the empire Assyria. So that's our second empire. And then eventually the southern part of Israel gets wiped out by Babylon. And they get dispersed. The Israelites get dispersed. And so we're going to see some of that in these books, these historic books. We will also see the Persian Empire, some will also call it the Medo-Persia Empire, come on the scene. This is actually a good thing because they had a king named King Cyrus, and he helped the Israelites get back into Israel. So there's some history for you. And if you want in-depth teachings on what I just said, you're going to find that stuff in those historic books. All right, so as I mentioned, the next section is going to be wisdom, books, and poetry. But I want to really highlight Psalms because you're going to have some end time material in the book of Psalms. I can go ahead and post an article below that will help you determine what books of the Bible are end times related, and specifically even the chapters that are end times related. So then if we hop into the prophetic books, and then when I say major, for the most part, major just means that they're longer, and your minor prophetic books just mean that they are shorter. But what's going to happen here, as I said earlier, is you're going to have people hearing from God for a people group, for a nation, for a situation. And so questions you want to ask yourself is, okay, as I'm about to read these prophetic books, like who are they prophesying to, or who are they prophesying about? So you are going to see some of these books specifically prophesying to like the northern section of Israel. Some of these books are going to be prophesying to that southern section. Some will be prophesying to Israel as a whole. There will be parts of these books hitting home on the prophecy of Jesus. And then you're going to see some of these books actually prophesying on the end times. So these are things you can be looking for. So a few questions you could ask yourself when you're about to read a prophetic book from the Old Testament is, all right, is this person prophesying to Israel, like as a whole? Or is this person prophesying specifically to the northern or the southern part? And what are they saying? The second question is, are there any prophecies going to be about Jesus? And then thirdly, are any of these prophecies about the end times? Those could be just good questions to ask yourself as you're reading through those prophetic books. All right, so hopefully that overview will help you. And maybe even right now in your spirit, you're like, oh, I'm so excited about the history. Well, now you know where to go to get more history. And technically, you're going to get some history from the prophetic books because some of that stuff has already come to pass. Maybe you're like, ooh, prophecies of Jesus, I want to go check that out. Maybe you're like me and you're an end times buff and you're like, what chapters and books are on the end times? Well, you can go check that out. Like I said, I'll put an article below. All right, so what's going to happen is we ended with that Persian Empire, okay? We ended with that Persian Empire with the historic books. And then with these prophetic books, like I said, some of these are going to be actually prophesying about, like, don't quote me on it, but they're going to be prophesying on how Assyria will be coming in. Again, that's come to pass. You'll have some prophesying about, for sure, Babylon. I know that. You're going to have some actually prophesying about other future empires. Daniel does that. So you're going to hear mentioning of other empires. When the Old Testament is done, the Greek Empire is on the scene. But there are no books written during the Greek Empire. So I just want you to know that. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get through these prophetic books, okay? And when the last one is written, there's a 400-year gap. We're going to have the Greek Empire ruling during that gap. But again, we're going to have for sure Daniel actually talk about that Greek Empire. Daniel's actually going to talk about the Roman Empire too, and the revived Roman Empire. All right, so now we're going to be in the New Testament, okay? So your first 4 books in the New Testament are going to be the Gospels. This is the story of Jesus. And the Greek Empire is ruling during this, Roman Empire. Roman Empire is ruling during this time. And so, again, the Gospels are the story of Jesus, his ministry, his healings, his teachings, and then the death on the cross and the resurrection. The next book is going to be a historic book. It's going to be the book of Acts, and this is going to be your first church. This is really fascinating because Jesus now has departed on a cloud, okay, in flesh, like he's up there with his Father. However, the Holy Spirit is now present for people to have and for the Holy Spirit to dwell in them. And so this is the first time they're really doing life without Jesus in the flesh, okay? They got the Holy Spirit, and now they're walking out everything Jesus taught them. They're walking out how to share salvation, how to heal, how to encourage people. It's really, really cool. I really believe that what we see in the book of Acts are going to happen again, like just for us. I really believe the Spirit's going to break out more, and there's going to be more tongues in the prophetic and healings. So you can go read the book of Acts if you just kind of want to get like that fire in you. All right, so then pretty much the rest of the New Testament are going to be letters, okay? So these letters are going to be written by a specific person, and the letters are going to either be to another specific person or to a church body. And in the simplest way, I would say that these letters are going to teach you how to walk out salvation. They're going to teach you how to do life with Jesus. They're going to give you guidelines with spiritual warfare. They're going to give you guidelines on how to handle marriage and family. I mean, it is like your manual on like how to walk out life. And so those are going to be really good books on just to help you understand, like, how do I walk out my Christian faith? And then we're going to end with the book of Revelation. Okay, all right here. So we got one prophetic book. Now, with that said, we have some prophetic chapters in the midst of these books, okay? So we do have some end time stuff in here. For example, like Jesus talks on the end times in Matthew 24 and 25. And so you're going to have sections of end time stuff in these letters, okay? But your main prophetic book in the New Testament is going to be in Revelation. Friendly reminder, the prophetic means it's future, okay? It's future. And do not be intimidated by this book, you guys. Do not be intimidated by the book of Revelation. There's actually a blessing if you read it. And if you want, well, I'd have to pray on it because it would be a really big task. If you're interested on the book of Revelation, let me know. I'd have to really pray if I'm supposed to do a video on it. If nothing else, I can give you some literature and some good resources. All right, so you guys, there we go. And so we end with the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is actually still brewing during this book of Revelation, but obviously the Roman Empire does die out. And we are just waiting for that revived Roman Empire that will be manifesting. I do see these 10 nations in the Middle East. I see Europe being a part of this confederation, some of Africa, just to kind of let you know what I'm thinking. But I'm just not yet ready to do a video on the 10 nations. I'm still like wrapping my mind around it. But there you go, guys. Have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, let me know. Do you want to say hi to Caleb? I can get Caleb real quick. She's sleeping. Come here, little one. She's in the sun. There she is. If you stayed with me this long, there's my little love bug. She was such a gift. Oh, she was such a gift. The Lord knew. Oh, he knew I needed her. So yeah, there she is. Okay, bye guys.